I didn't think about it.
I can't get it, I was the one people.
Oh, yeah. Green down on the light. I can't actually. I wasn't on the force down there in 2006. I was on the force in 2000. Yeah, 'cause I was in the military down at a school, and he hired us, I was in the military, a big security, and then the guy goes to back. He was on the Navy. The whole town was just. I mean, I guess the baby. To be on the sideline, they said, I need to ball out. No.
Like.
No, they think it was my. Yeah. Twenty with one and one. Too late, you lost,
Lost.
you know.
Everybody's good at something.
Have to be careful when you're doing that.
That's right.
You know.
That is right. You ready?
We'd like to call this meeting to order. It is now 6 o'clock PM. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Great. We thank you for being here with us. Second item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I trust everyone has had an opportunity to look over it. Any questions or anything?
No.
No,
I need a motion to move forward.
Darren Savage, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
my second motion.
We have a motion in a second. All in favor? Any extensions or? All right, we have the motion passed to 3-0. 4-0. All right, we have pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
As we take a moment of silence, we would like to remember Miss Ruby Palmer. She served the district for over 40 years. If you would like to meet, she took some of our recesses, but I won't hold it against her.
Took some out behind. I messed up out there.
All right. Thank you.
Amen. That's all. Part of my family.
All right, the next item is the approval of minutes for November 13th, 2023, board meeting. All were present, so all can vote. I need a motion.
Marcus, right, to approve the minutes of the November 13th, 2023 Board of Education meeting.
Darren Savage, I second.
We have a motion in a second. Any other questions?
No.
All right, we have a motion in a second. All say aye. Any abstain, any objection? All right, that motion carries 4-0. Public participation, any inputs? All right, so we'll move on to reports and presentations. We have quite a few tonight.
Awesome.
We will start with the best at the nest.
All right,
And I think I see Aaron Miller, if you would like to come forward. Congratulations for being best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Thank you.
No, anybody else
no one else is here?
came in for best at the nest, so other awardees this month were Matt Garavich, Taylor Swain, Danielle Coffey, and Jim Keane. So I'll make sure that they get this.
We get them in the air.
Oh, we're doing sports.
Yes. Okay, then we're gonna have our athletic awards.
All right.
Coach Perry is coming up first for our athletic awards. Thank you.
Awesome. I mean, I appreciate it. Good deal.
Our first one is Roman Maddox, first team all class, first team lineman of the year, first team all district, and 1A lineman of the year. That's not really. Do you want to go?
Usually go over here, that's why I'm moving. Oh, you coming over here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm-
Don't mess it up, we had a system here, we knew it was back up there.
Yeah.
Moved on.
You wanna come and take a picture?
That's right.
Come on, Eric. How are you?
What else we got?
Can you come in front? No, come in here by husband.
All right, good job. Come on in there.
Are you the biggest fan? 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
We got the motion. Oh, that's it.
Okay.
You said Trayvon Wilson.
Trayvon Paulson, thank you. Second team all class, first team all district, and honorable mention district. Theater department, put it on.
Oh,
She got the camera, look at her.
Smile.
I got it. Okay, thank you.
yes,
Okay. All right, so then we had two other students, Jacob and Noah Kedlovitz, who are actually at wrestling this evening. And so we will make sure that they get their certificates later. Thank you, Coach Terry. Thank you for all.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Now we'll have field hockey. Not sure if Coach Riggleman was able to. Is also in the wrestling match.
You want some of the field hockey, you can bring it in.
Somebody disappeared. Bring it over, Sienna Knowles. Sienna. Right? All right. Sienna was second team all conference. Congratulations.
You wanna get a picture, Bob?
Yeah.
And I don't care. I'll find her and she can find her right too.
You wanna come in?
Shut that down.
Anyone? Thank you.
Oh.
And then Brianna Smith with an honorable mention.
Come on first. Can I get it?
No,
that's fine.
There you go. Daria
Collins got an honorable mention.
Go ahead, Mom.
Group picture, good job.
Are you gonna get a picture?
Yeah, of course. Might want to stand that.
It all depends on his mood.
You want me to take all of your credit? I go back in the picture.
You want your
Yeah.
phone? You want your phone?
2, 3. Michael.
And then we had some for soccer, but for Mr. Evans, we won't be able to have any. Who is old? Possibly. Cross country, yes. Colin Hickman. Let's do that.
That's right, good job.
We could do that. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Awesome.
Very proud of our stellar athletes and how well they represent us, and we like to be able to celebrate them monthly at our board meetings. So another round of applause for. That's it for awards.
All right. Next on the agenda is superintendent's communications.
Yeah. I simply want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, couple more days, and we will be to 2024. And on that note, I'm going to, in the great tradition of politicians everywhere, yield my time to Mr. Kogi and the FFA, because I believe that they wanted to say a little something and then present all of you.
Awesome.
So, Mr. Kogi.
Good deal. Very relaxed. Where's my cheat?
You can stand right there, that's fine.
Alright, so we're the secret high school of the Bay. My name is Marley Jan Beer. I'm the vice president of our SHS chapter.
My name is Tyler Kirby, and I'm the Sonoma SHS at the chapter. I'm founding the. Reporter, nah, he's right,
Thank you, welcome.
So we've been doing a lot at our FFA, in our FFA chapter this past year. We've done different projects with the students, within the community, and just with other organizations and the business community. One big thing that we've done at the high school is hydroponics. And we've been able to gain a grant from the state to build hydroponic systems and harvest different vegetables in the system. Recently, we've been harvesting lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, and peppers. And we've also been trying to grow strawberries as well. We've already been giving different vegetables to the middle school and high school cafeterias. So we've already been benefiting from that. And we've gained 3 new systems recently in the past month or so. And we plan on adding more systems in the next year. And this Thursday, we're actually going to do a greenhouse tour with different staff members in the district to show them what we've been doing in those systems.
Is that part of our professional development day that you're doing?
And another thing that we did during this past summer is a vet science competition. So the FFA, one of the competitions that they do, the vet science competition, where we do different veterinarian procedures and we take different exams based on like the equipment and the different bacteria and the different animal breeds that are, animals and stuff. So as our first time competing in this competition, we placed 4th place.
Wow.
In the whole state. And we plan on aiming for top 3, or if we can even get 1st place and go to nationals this year, that would be great.
Absolutely.
And we've also been working with a middle school FFA chapter, and they gained a new advisor, that Julia Leslie, I believe is her name, and they've been rebuilding really well within the past few months. And I believe that they're gonna grow just as well as we've been growing, and we've been partnering with them, and we've been working with them. And we can already see that there's a lot of success in that with young scholars.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that information. You're very well spoken. Nice job.
It was, good job.
Last year, summer, we had some state fair entries that me and Colin did, and how do I describe it? It was eventful. It was our first time, so we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But he got 3rd and I got 4th, and pretty much first we wanted was this piece of solid wood.
All
But
right.
it was fun times, I really enjoyed it, and I would, we get higher placements next year. Hopefully,
That's right.
during the summer, we're gonna get something now. And then next, they're coming up in the spring for like one of my SAE projects, I was thinking about having a car show, like for the school, like you get donations and like people just come out and just show their rock and that's not making this right now, I gotta figure all that out. So some of the FFA officers and some of us helped build the Christmas float this year for the parade. And the theme of it was the magic of Christmas. So we did a manger scene of how Jesus was born. And we actually had to build like a whole new structure because the one we had built wasn't going to hold up if it rained on it. So, yeah. And Mr. Andy Jones was a big help to that. He pulled our float with one of the tractors they had and supplied us with a generator. And yeah.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
This year, all of the officers went over to the Woodland Schoolhouse. Then we tore all the old landscaping out and then redid it all, put in mulching and leveled everything out, put plants and everything around there, cleaned it up a little bit.
Awesome.
It's great.
And we'd like to present each and every one of you with a sample of the produce from the greenhouse and this Christmas trees.
All right.
Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you. Pretty. Thank you all very much. Great job.
Hollywood is.
They are. They are.
Thank you so much for coming tonight and thank you for sharing this update. We really appreciate that. Mr. Kobe.
Nice picture of everything.
Can we get a picture of all you guys together? real quick?
Yeah.
You want us to hold that?
If you don't mind.
All right.
Where?
We do, you want to go right here? Oh, curb in front of here.
Yeah, that.
Damn little.
Are we doing this right?
I think we are. Short. And Jeff is short by here.
There we go. One, two.
Ooh, careful.
There you go. Have a short piece.
Or 1, 2, 3.
My turn.
Oh, then she'll get a check.
1, 2, 3. Look at all those smiling faces.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Real hard.
Mr. Kobe, the Animal Planet show Critter Fixers. They are veterinarians out of rural Georgia, and they have been doing workshops for the past 2 years in different areas, and the closest they come here is Philadelphia. But they allow students who apply to be a vet for a day.
Okay.
So I will keep you posted when I see something else come up, because if veterinarian is, some of the things they're gonna try and get into.
Absolutely. I'm lucky enough to go to Western Sussex Animal Hospital, 2 of our officers, their dad runs that, so they.
Oh, yeah,
Go there and do hands-on, and it's been a great opportunity for them to build their skills and certain collaborators on the instructors at Deltec as well.
Mhm.
That's what they, so outside of we get, it's
Absolutely.
really beneficial, thank you.
Phenomenal program.
All right. Next item on the agenda is board communications. Mr. White, you have anything?
We have not met since the last meeting.
All right. I would like to say thank you to Fred Douglas, the middle school life skills, FFA for the present, the gifts that they've given us. And I don't know who supplied us with our merch. It was.
From the folks here at this. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Happy holidays. And we really appreciate that. Also, I'd like to say the boys middle school, they won their game.
Yes,
Today, I think it was 57-29
29, yes.
against Laurel Middle School. And the girls, they're probably done now, I don't know, but I didn't get an update on that game. And then we got Laurel tomorrow, the high school.
Mhm.
So we'll be able to go there. All right. Good. Next item on the agenda is school safety updates, the presentation.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My mouse operator is on the phone. All right, so two presentations for tonight. First one, just some school safety updates to go through. That you kind of update on what we're doing. This is one thing that we're very proud of. Before we start, just thanking, and I thank you, thanking Pat Hill, who's done an amazing job helping me get a lot of this stuff off the ground. And Kim Simmons, who's kind of my right-hand woman on a lot of these things, so they both done amazing jobs in this, but. So radios, after a long and arduous process, we finally have these, we'll get all on Wednesday. We're very excited about it. This is gonna allow all the schools to be able to talk to each other during the day at any point in time. So each school is getting a set of radios that they can talk to each other like they have right now. Some of them are on their last legs, so we're excited that they're getting updated. But then this also will allow district office, if they need to get a hold of the school, in an emergency to talk to them right away. Or if the school is in the midst of an emergency to contact us right away instead of having to rely on a cell phone or cell towers that might not be available when things are going on. So we're very excited about this. Like I said, each school, elementary school is getting 20 each for their staff, the middle school is getting about 26. And the high school, we're actually able to repurpose what they have, but they're gonna be on the same system with us. So we're very excited. Middle school, Blade and West Seaford all got new antennas put on top of them to kind of triangulate everything. And in the spring, our buses will all be outfitted with new radios. So everything's gonna be on the same system, and same thing, we'll be able to talk to buses at the outrages of our community, even if they're traveling. I don't know, probably the whole way to Dover, but it's probably getting pretty close.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
That's pretty far.
yeah. The antenna on top of those was up nice and high, so it, so it carries that signal.
So they're gonna call us a word.
There we go.
Okay, so radio. Other thing, we're very excited about cameras. We're gonna talk about a couple things. So they've been in since the beginning of the school year. Initial deployment has been very successful. We have 368 brand new cameras district wide. And we're gonna be adding to that in the spring, just elementary school, especially on the outside of them, with the COP grant. And then there's a couple of blind spots that we just missed on walkthroughs that we didn't see until the cameras were actually up and running. So we get all that done. What that map you see right there, one of the things that we really like about this process, right? So that map, green on that map shows where all the cameras are. That's in the first floor of the high school. And you can see kind of coverage area where they're pointing at. And then the nice thing you can also do is when there's people in the hallway, the little blue dots, which is during a kind of a start of a class game, those little blue dots are people. And if you click on one, you can actually follow that person as you go throughout the building. So if there is a true emergency of an active shooter or someone really that shouldn't be there. When kids are in classrooms, there's not many blue dots because kids are in classrooms. So if you click on, you can click it and follow them throughout. Cameras on the outside, you can also do the same thing with cars. So we've been using this, we utilize it with some things that the police department are doing, and we're very excited about it. And if you go through the next slide, I just want to show you what it looks like. So that's the same camera, zoomed in on the preschool playground. So there's like zero loss of quality when you do it.
Yes.
So the cameras are nice, and they've helped us a lot in a lot of things we've done so far.
One quick addition to that is it's also got business or artificial intelligence built into it. So you could say, I'm looking for a male with an orange shirt on. I actually did that one day and I was like, oh, there'll be no yellow vehicle traveling around the school district, right? And all of the district work vehicles and all the school buses pop up. Oh, darn. That shouldn't say yellow.
Very good.
And it's nice too, there's an app, you can actually get them on our phone, so if I'm ever in Dover one day for a meeting or something, I can do a camera on my phone, so it's all web based, which also allows the sheriff to see where police department and everything.
Right.
They can pull them off. Weapons detection system has gone off very, very well. I'm using them at all sporting events, we use them all big events. Throughout the middle school today, you saw them,
today, yeah.
as they went to the basketball game. I have not heard any negatives at all from anyone. Everything's been positive from the people coming into our games, and from the community, and obviously we've got some radio swaps too. We've had Laurel, Woodbridge, and Indian River all came to look at our system. and see how it works. And they're all kind of excited about it too, so I don't know where they are in the process of looking at it. But we're excited that we're able to use it. Incorporating that with a no bag policy and no face mask as you're coming to games, have made me feel a lot better when I'm at events, so I'm sure he wants the same thing. I'm just feeling better when you're at the big event with us. COP grant, another one I'm gonna thank Patches on, who's probably spent. You never knew that getting a COPS grant, it's actually harder to get the money than it is to apply for. And that's to be approved for it. But Pat, I think we're on our last steps in getting that, so we should be able to get it in. We're excited, we're gonna use it to improve fencing at various occasions around, our district, especially the football fencing. We're gonna look at some of it, and then Central Elementary and Fred Douglas. Ballistic film on doors and windows. So Mr. Henry has started that in some areas, but we're gonna be able to have all of our main entrances covered with ballistic film. So that people, you know, what I mean, one, it's nice, you really can't see into it. You see the district office here on the front door, but also protects in case that someone does try to get in, with a weapon. We're gonna increase the number of radios and cameras if principals need them. And we're also able to pay for the Seawood Police Department, to cover some of our bigger events. We're excited about the COP grant money coming in. Hopefully in January, we get that. Constables, we're working on a handbook, with our constables and coming up with just the best practices and protocols department of the state. And an incident report they have just in case something's going on, just to keep, us updated on what they're doing if they're involved in a situation. So even if there's a parent that's having a bad day, coming into our offices, they can document so they can write down exactly what happened, just so we have that in notes, just like police would in kind of any kind of event. They've been an awesome part of weapons detection, at our football games and the basketball games. They're pretty much running that weapons detection system, and have been integral, just making sure it's going smoothly and that they're positive for the community. And then they're covering, both middle and high school events for us, especially the bigger ones. So they've been awesome, as a part of our total comprehensive safety plan.
Question. Back when we talk about gate, locked and so like, I know at the West Seaver School that one of the gates are locked, like on the way on the outside of the road barriers, and somebody asked me one time why we still have them locked, because they were, was trying to have access to get into there, maybe walk their dog or playground, whatever, said the public place, and it was locked still. Is that the reason why we do that? And yes.
So we unlocked them for one weekend, and the playground rubber underneath the sets was damaged. So I can imagine on the following weekend lock them back up, just because I mean that stuff is.
I understand. I knew it was a reason, but can you get them unlock that gate so I can get in and walk my dog? Because it was a secured area, and they won't worry about running around the road.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, we tried.
But I knew it had to be some kind of vandalism, something going on. Appreciate you, thank you.
Yes, sir. Because even the track that's open because of the public track.
Yeah.
We had issues there, especially springtime when it comes, people playing soccer on the field and just leaving, a lot of things they shouldn't be leaving around.
Yeah.
That we then have to clean up, you know what I mean?
I understand.
There's nothing we can really do about that. We've got the police to help us a little bit and check when people are out there. Which is difficult. People don't take as good a choice. Good care of it as we let them. Any questions, school safety wise?
No.
All right, and one roll. I know like today was an unusual event. We had so much rain and, knock on wood, none of our buses, but we had a couple other schools, the buses got stuck in the water holes and we had to go out and, actually pull them out of the water. And, is that something we look at vice versa, like fog? We look at fog and stuff. How about water, flooding and stuff?
We were out on the roads and working on something about 4:30 this morning.
Okay.
Would be able to have, and then Dr. Eastrall was working with other district superintendents, the same as Ms. Simmons is working with other transportation.
Roger that.
And we're all just kind of, as we triangulate what's going on and see where we were, and
Good deal.
even though there were some roads that we had to go around to get to some students or everything, we just didn't feel there was enough that caused for a delay.
Now, most of it's common sense. These two buses that were in this water hole this time. The guy said, you're not allowed to pour a bus out, because we hooked a cable up to it and we pulled the bus out. He said, you're not allowed to pull the bus with kids on it, so you're not allowed to ride 4 foot of water neither. We gotta get your bus out. So we hooked up to it,
Yeah, not on wood, we had a couple buses, early that were getting stuck with some places, but as the day went on, they just, I mean, just did an amazing job. I rated it, and it was just nice of, they've all worked the other well.
Yes.
Telling them what roads are closed.
Oh,
I'm basically stuck. They had to figure out some different
Yes.
routes.
Yeah,
They had to-
understand.
They didn't drive into something, they had to
yeah,
get around.
very good.
We won most of that stuff, not the case one, it was before,
Yeah.
sorry. Any other questions, school safety?
Nope, you can move on to school choice.
School choice, just wanna go over this with you, just kind of process and I have some data for you at the very end too. Just so you have to look at, this year's school choice, opened up on November 6th, closed on January 10th. So that's the time period that people have to put applications in. Obviously kindergartners can go after that. We're go to the next slide. You also at some points have approved, students on school choice outside of that for good cause, and good cause is defined by the state. I'm not gonna read through that. Those are the ones that I will bring to you outside of that time frame. We'll go to all the ones that we get, in January. But like I said, every once in a while throughout the school year, we do get some. If a child moves in the middle of the year and they want to stay, at the school that they're at, most of the time we let them, unless it's really some way. So that's a good call provision, because with that, enrollment, school choice continues until you go to a new school. So this year we've sent applications and phone calls to every school choice student that's in second grade, fifth grade and eighth grade, because they have to reapply, anytime they change schools. We've done that, we've sent that out. We'll do another phone call right at the beginning of January to try to remind them that if they want to stay in the Seaford School District, that they have to put that, application in and to stay here. We base school choice on really three things: attendance. We want students that are here to have good attendance. Their grades should be decent. Discipline record should be, should be good. And then to get approved again and go to the next school. Transportation, you guys know this. Just want to reiterate: parents, families are always responsible for transporting students to the school of choice. We have some questions from families every once in a while, but once we go through things, they're usually pretty good and understand that they have to provide transportation to get to our school if they don't live in our district. Termination of choice, families always have the option to terminate. We did not have anyone ask to terminate this year. If they do, they have to ask that by December 1st. So I didn't bring any to you, because we don't have any students to terminate their school choice as of right now. Timeline, just so you guys see it, November 7th, we sent those applications out. The 10th is when it opened up. We sent probation forms out to principals. And those were collected, and we have a few students that we did put on probation for attendance issues that they might be having. If those attendance issues don't get corrected, we meet with parents, try to come up with plans and get with them. And last year we did have a few students that we would deny in the spring if they don't change their attendance patterns up. And we really do that because, again, that transportation piece, if they're struggling to get their students to school, there's a reason for that. So we try to push them to the, so they are in school. January 8th, Ms. Math and I will bring all the school choice applications to principals and kind of get their approval to bring them then to you at the January 15th meeting, when we'll have a lot of school choice applications. They'll bring you for approval for next school year. Probation, like I said, administrators can place students on probation for attendance, grades, or discipline issues. We have a form that we fill out, that's actually a board policy, it's an exhibit in our board policy. They fill out, they send to me, and then I send the letter out to the parent and try to talk to them just about what the issues are that are going forth. And again, we try to come up with a plan to try to fix whatever issues they are. So that way they did that in the spring, when we look at this, we can keep them here as students of the Seaford School District. And then, like I said, every once in a while, we had a few last year. If we have any this year, we'll bring them to the May Board of Education meeting for you guys. Either approve that we deny the choice for the following year, or not. And then just a couple statistics that I kind of brought to you that I kind of found somewhat interesting. You see the last 3 years. I don't have 2021 data because I wasn't here and I could not find any of Dr. Bell's stuff that he left me from the students choosing into Seaford. But you see the ones choosing out and you see the overall numbers. And I just kind of picked the top 4 districts that are close to us that we have it with. And you can see that Woodbridge is the one that takes most of our students for whatever reason out of it. And coming into us, Woodbridge and Laurel are the 2 biggest districts that we get students from.
Yeah.
You mentioned the probation, you said that those things, grades, attendance, behavior are monitored. Is there a plan? Is there, or are they just watching? Or what is the plan? Is there a set plan for if there's an attendance issue? If there's
Yes,
a
no, I
grade
mean,
issue?
it's individualized for the student.
Right.
So we try to bring the parent in and have kind of come up with a contract for them.
That
If
was
it's an attendance issue of what can we do to support you,
Mhm.
and just push them that they get them to school on time.
So there's contract.
If it's grades, what can we do to work with that? You know what I mean? It's still different for K to two as it was.
Right, right, exactly.
And our K to two schools for grades would not put the kids on probation near as fast like a middle school would. You know what I mean? Because your student does not, might not be.
Got it. Thank you.
But yeah, that's individualized for that student.
Perfect. I just wanted to say that on the record, so.
Do we have the number, the financial number of what we sent out?
Yes, you mean this year or?
All 3 years?
Yeah, we can hold that. I'm pretty sure the back years are all that, the school choice, applications that we put out, with the Answer application, and it actually the minuses, how much money we lose when people choice out and how much we gain when they kids choice in. And because of the way the, need-based, process works, it actually can't take into account what the child's qualification is as well in regards to that. So there's ways we could put that and maybe present it back to you at a later time. If you like.
That's fine.
Didn't our per pupil amount drop this year?
I don't have that quite on my end of my.
Not yet.
Not
I think it did. I think I remember saying it.
Would it be because of national funds?
No, wouldn't be,
wasn't because of
one thing
ESSER.
that happened is our count stayed more or less stable in terms of the actual numbers of student bodies,
Mhm.
but if you remember the earned units increased because of the number of intense and complex students.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking that actually the per pupil expenditure probably, if you incorporate like IDA and those other things, probably increased. Because our number of students stayed constant, but our units earned increased. Which means that that representative portion of funding that comes along with those units. But either here or there, we earned more units for the same number.
And also this was year 3 of the K3 basic phase in, so we got the full allotment of money there for K3 basic, and the pre-K ratio went up as well, so that it helped increase that number too.
But I think we can check the per pupil expenditures too, if that's.
That's all in this. I just went back. We can pull back as far as 2008 and I can tell you each year the pluses or minuses, and that is for both the choice side and the charter side. Yeah, plus it doesn't go back that far.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like us to do that for January?
No. I was just curious.
And I mean, the one nice thing I like about this is the number of students going out has gone down the last 3 years. Not significantly, but relatively good, and the number coming in and stayed roughly is, I mean, roughly. So we're trying to get more kids to choice in, we'll keep working on
It always bothers me why they would go to Woodbridge.
it. I wish I could give you a reason as to why.
No comment.
That number has one, I mean, that number is shrinking too, went from 146 years ago down to 121 this year, so the number is going down.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Mrs. Gold. Next item on the agenda is homework policy inspection, Mr. Karen.
That's the problem. Before there, I don't felt like. Sorry about that.
So the homework policy came up and we worked with our policy committee in kind of short, and then one of the things we're doing in the course policy is kind of make things a little more succinct and making sure we're getting stuff into the regulations. So this one kind of, there was I honestly would say, Dr. Savage, a little bit, too much subjectivity
It was,
in the
yeah.
policy,
Yeah,
about opinion.
yeah.
And so we kind of just made it a little bit more succinct. And, this draft of this policy, as we talked about in our policy meeting, went to curriculum council last week, and they're working on regs along with that, because if you remember, in the regs, there's still some information in regards to the time that should be spent on homework, which is a little archaic in its thought process. So when we bring the second, provided you for the first reading this evening, when we bring the second reading in January, the curriculum council is gonna have recommendations for regs as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is FFA Memorial Policy Discussion. Mr. Cameron.
All right, so we're looking at nothing really changing with this policy. And the reason that we have it is, as we go through this, one of the things that we've gone through the policy process is you'll look and see this is revised in 2000. It doesn't mean that anybody hasn't looked at this since 2000. But what we're trying to do as we go through is also put down in the review so that it doesn't look, it was adopted in 86, revised in 2000, the next time we looked at it is 23. So hopefully when somebody looks at this again, now we do have this that was reviewed. And the reason this one has come up is we're looking at doing some changing to some regs, which we're gonna talk about. So it did make a whole lot of sense to adjust the regs without looking at review this policy. And I want to thank Ms. Mask for this, because she's working hand in hand with us in putting this in review. So as we said, when we're long gone, this will be all there. And also, I want to give her a huge shout out for the work that she is doing on the website with the policy side of stuff, because it has been a huge task to do the updating of it. But what has gone into that and making it easier to find things and it'll be much easier to read is tremendous. And it's, I mean, what each one is like a 15 to 20 minute ordeal. And so it is labor intensive, and she's just done a tremendous job.
And just correcting the errors in coding along the way, you know, no, any one person is perfect. And so as she's able to go through to be able to make sure that the title matches the code, matches the citation, matches the reference, so.
And so there is no vote on it. This is just for review, since we're gonna bring up the ranks later.
All right, moving on right along. Next item on the agenda is GBJA-R, Criminal History Record Information Regulations. Okay. No. Nope.
There you go. Yeah, I know. Right, so if you recall, last month, we brought GBJ A to you as a policy as a result, and it's a new policy as a result of an audit that we were going through with Delges. And we didn't fail the audit, and so it was that we call it a practice audit, because what they're doing is they contract with a company that allows us to kind of go through what the audit would be from the federal side, because the federal audit is basically the FBI shows up at the state police and say, we're going to these 3 districts, let's go. And this way we're being in compliance. So the policy was something we had to put in place. And then these are some of the regulations that we needed to put in regards to make sure that we're hitting the stuff to be compliant. We were doing most of these things, if not all these things already, but we just didn't have them written down. Like our CDCs are kept separate from the personnel files, but we literally have to say that we keep them separate and in a locked cabinet. And we've always destroyed, we destroy CDC 6 months after, within 6 months after somebody leaves us. We've just always done that. We just didn't have it written down anywhere. And so when they were saying, well, can you prove that you do that? And I was like, well, I can in 2 months. I said, I'm gonna do this. And I actually went in the audit, put in the draft of the policy, and I have included the draft of the regs, and said if anything changes, we would include that. But they were satisfied that we were taking this approach. So anything in the regs are what has been asked of us to be compliant as we go through an audit.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is FFA, excuse me, -R regulation discussion.
There's one there. Right, so the change in here, changes numbering, but the biggest piece of this was, there was a piece in the regs that said that we would go into executive session to discuss, to invite somebody into executive session to discuss that, which we cannot do. So the regs would have had us violating state code, and we don't want to violate state code, because we believe in the code. And so we were just adjusting the regs to match what we do and not be violation of code.
Any other questions or discussion?
Nope.
All right, thank you, Karen. All right. 7.1 is school choice. I see we don't have any this month. All right.
That's right.
All right, 7.2, field trip agenda. We have 2 field trips. High school BPA, excuse me, BPA students, May 10th through the 14th, 2024. Times to be determined. They're going to Chicago, Illinois. Students will have an opportunity to complete or collaborate on a national level with other students. Is that Mother's Day weekend?
Probably.
Wow.
Second weekend, isn't it? Third weekend.
Yeah, you should be getting all the CTE national field trips as approvals, just in case we get the 7 students, that way we're not scrambling at the last minute to get your approval to send them to all places around the country.
Makes sense, makes sense. The second field trip is Fred Douglass, 3rd grade students on April 30th, 2024. They will be attending the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. as part of a book curriculum. Students will get to complete an activity on Congress and the Constitution. Sounds like fun. All right. That is an action item. The recommended action is to approve the field trip agenda as presented.
Marcus Strathern, move to approve the field trip agenda as presented.
Darryl Savage, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any objections or abstentions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have that passes 4-0. All right, 7.3 facilities requests. We have that. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
We just skipped them one, that's all.
All right. Moving right along, 7.4. This is GBJA, criminal history record information. The recommended action is to approve the second reading of GBJA, criminal history record information policy as presented.
Darryl Savage, I move to approve the second reading of DBJA criminal record history.
Second and motion, BBJA criminal history.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or objections? That passes 4-0. Okay. 7.5. The recommended action is to approve the first reading of IKB homework policy as presented.
Marcus Strathern, move to approve the first reading of IKB homework policy as presented.
Formal right side second, 7.50 IKB.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That item passes 4-0. All right, we have a change order. We don't miss,
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
Good
Good evening. And I wanted to finish here like I started it, so.
go.
With these long concrete or contract numbers that you guys have to read off one or two times as we talk about it. But no, seriously, I wanted to thank the board for the support in the last year and the great work that we've been able to complete together. Because I tell you, I think we did community a solid with the way we spent the ESSER money, thanks to the support of you guys and what we've gotten out of it. So we get to start next year, I believe, Mr. Cameron, from right here, with looking at some of the great work that we've completed. So the next year, our next board meeting, I think we're gonna be looking at a project that we're gonna do completion. But on the other side of it, I have a few things to go over as far as authorized allowances. Now, remember, those aren't true change orders, so they're not changing the PO amount. They're just taken out of what's already been allocated for the project. And the first one that I wanted to go over is what is this?
So what I say, right?
Okay, so it's basically for the middle school lighting.
Right.
Fred Douglas. Okay, sorry about that. School is open. All right, so the first one that we're gonna go over is the Fred Douglas school-based health center. And it's basically a countertop that we had to retrofit to allow numerous to be able to lock the cabinets down. So basically, that's what that is. I'll change it for that. All right. Second one.
I think all separately. Yeah, we gotta go all separate.
Oh,
I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Or with all of the projects that we have going on.
Let's go through them all then.
And then we vote.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
with all the projects, are they on time? Are they on schedule for the most part?
They're running, I mean, a few of them are running behind because of HVAC, but it's not affecting anything, if that makes sense to you.
Okay.
So it's the way we scheduled it out, so it didn't interrupt any kind of student or staff activity. So basically, the chillers just got completed, like setting them in and, doing the off season. And plus, we decided to do it because that way we're not taking any time away from, HVAC controls or anything like that. So you have heating and cooling still available to you, and we do that on the off season. So basically, we're going through them. So, and to answer to your question, we pretty much are running in the timeline that we had set forward. But it has been delayed because of that, because we were putting it off, to make sure that we accommodate the students and staff.
Okay.
So this one's gonna be change order 7.
Yeah.
Which is basically, we decided to, in all the projects that we've done, we've decided to try to leave it better than what we found it. That's been my motto since I've kind of taken over this job. So we had a whole rooftop unit on top of Fred Douglas that we wanted to take off and abandon. And plus it's a possible leak. So we just wanted to take it off, seal the roof and do away with the unit that we didn't use anymore. So that's pretty much what this one is. And the last one is going to be the middle school boiler room. And basically it's just a retrofit of LED lighting, which is going to be a pretty good payback for us on that. Anything that we do LED wise is probably the quickest payback we'll get in any kind of project. So we just wanted to go ahead and complete that with some authorized allowance money that we had left. Any questions for me?
Nope.
No, keep up the good job, good work. All right.
Thank you.
This is the action item. The recommended action is to approve what 7.3. Yeah.
Okay. There's,
The recommended action is to approve SEA 22001 FDE SBHC allowance authorization, change order number 6.
Darren Savage, I move to approve SEA 22001 FDE SBHC allowance authorization, change order number 6.
We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? All in agreement, say aye. Any objections or abstentions? That motion passes 4-0. Next item is 7.7. The recommended action is to approve SEA 22001 FDE SBHC allowance authorization, change order number 7.
All rights are approved. 7.07 SEA 22.001 FDE SBHC. Change order number 7.
Marcus, on the second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in agreement, say aye. Any objections or abstentions? That motion passes 4-0. 4-0, excuse me. 7.8. 7.8, the recommended action is to approve SEA 21005 SMS MEP1 allowance authorization change order number 4.
Marcus Riley, move to approve SEA 21005_SMS_ MEP1 allowance authorization change order number 4 as presented.
Sarah Savage, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That motion passes 4-0. All right, next action item, 7.9. FY 2024 technology salary schedule. Mr. Patrick Hill.
Yes, sir. What you see presented here is an updated salary schedule, for the technology department. The only piece that's changing is the addition of the third column, which is the sysadmin job title. We take into consideration based off of, working with other districts, having went and looked at what other districts were doing in regards to having a sysadmin type role. And we pretty much focused on school districts from Dover South because we didn't feel like our jobs were competitive with people that were in like downtown Wilmington. We took this all school districts and we, with the creation of the sysadmin role, what we're doing right now, should y'all approve everything, would be, we'd like, at this time, I'm going to continue, we're not gonna, you're operating with one less administrator right now, because I'm actually doing technology data as well as finance. So with the shifting of the building, Cameron, and the shifting of nutrition, going to Mr. Zoll, the thought was we'd continue to operate for now, as we are with the creation of this, new role. Should in the future we revisit that, we'll come back around, but again, as of right now, you're operating with one less administrator and one less technician, should we move forward with this.
So that means, this doesn't replace the role that you had?
It doesn't, longer term, that this is going to be kind of a technical leader right now, but they're not doing management of people. So it's more of making, instead of having to come to me on a daily basis for approval of doing things technically, it kind of gives them the authority to go off and do that, but they're not actually signing contracts. They're not actually doing some of those roles. So I'm going to maintain that for right now. Should it become too much over time, again, and we kind of think, we can look at revisiting that, but again, the net right now is that we're still operating at less expense with this role than we were before this process.
So we do not have a sysadmin right now, is what, we do not have it. You are playing that role, but we don't have it.
No, we're recommending tonight as part of executive session that will be taken forward to you for approval, and that's why this needed to be also discussed tonight.
Is this an action item?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just asking for clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
So right now, we already have level 1, level 2. That's what we already had.
We have people operating in both of those, yes, ma'am.
So this is for future.
This is for the future.
This is not affecting your role, your salary, those things, right?
No, ma'am.
This is not, okay.
Actually, I don't believe I could present anything that was affecting
Right,
me.
that's why I was like.
I wouldn't be allowed, no, this
Okay.
is not anything to do
Okay.
with me. This is a new role. That's why I'm, yeah.
Okay, so we're
That
saying that we're gonna move to this. Right.
Right. But we're not currently looking for it. It gives us the option.
No,
But
we
we
have-
will be on the, during the recommendation of the personnel that,
Okay, okay, okay.
Got it.
That makes more sense now. to me. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Any other questions on that?
No.
No. All right, this is action item, the recommended actions to approve the FY 24 technology salary schedule as presented.
Darren Savage, I move to approve the FY 24 technology salary as presented.
Marcus Rogers. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That motion passed 4-0.
You note, I'm sorry.
You're fine, go ahead.
Please note that as we move forward, we're just talking tonight both about the preliminary budget and what I'm going to present to you, which is the final budget.
All right. So this is 7.10 financial reports. Go.
So, in looking at what we've been doing, the reason this whole budget is gonna work out tonight is because we also have something that's being presented to you. You'll see an alternative reduction plan that is presented that, although it doesn't need your approval, what we want you to do is understand that makes, what we're doing in there makes all this pretty much possible and makes everything balance out. One of the questions you asked earlier, as we look at this, and if we start looking at operating units, we did increase based off of our, in some areas of our budget. One key thing y'all asked about a little bit ago, school choice and charter, we did get hit with $500,000 worth of school choice charter and all our tuition payments that we do. That is common this time of year, so I just wanted to point that out. I think.
That's actually lower than last year. Well, that's not full. Okay, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. We did some other things. It was small amounts, but I think it's worth calling out. 4 schools didn't get $1,000 bonus because they were under on their energy. So we actually approved that. So we modified their budget in this final budget that we're presenting. This was part of the, I think it was called your energy incentive that you did.
Yes.
Chrissy Law.
I did.
Should have all-
And
I will say-
finished it already, and so it was part for us.
I will say Chandra was sitting in the dark. She had to get there. That's fine. We also increased contingency here by approximately 75,000. What we have is we have some extra revenues that you're gonna see that are coming in. And instead of actually distributing that out and increasing budgets, we felt like we could use it for one-time items throughout the rest of the school year. That then we're, because anything we do to change the budget is not necessarily sustainable in future years and longer term, and we kind of wanted to keep it. So based off of that, last month we had gone from, to this month, we've gone from 8.8 to 7.6 million, which is the 1.2 million difference. And I showed you where that is basically 800 and some thousand in payroll equals the difference. Again, the big charge being the $500,000 in the charter and voice billing. Any questions on that? Tax receipts. You'll notice did come in some more for this month. We are at 5.86 million in tax received. That's up another 300 from this month. 280 of that is from this year's taxes, and 27 was from delinquent years. Any questions on that? Set aside, the same as last month, it's holding steady at 2.9 million. Nothing going in, but nothing going out. Monthly revenue. Anticipated revenue is actually increased by several $100,000, and this is actually going to, is this?
Made it work.
So pretty much what you'll see is in each of the categories of revenue that we receive, that all of them are actually growing for a total of $700,000 additional that we anticipate coming. Any questions? No. We go to the next.
Where do you want the reduction?
Yes, I would say let's go to the reduction.
The reduction plan is presented to you, in which we're taking 7.3 teacher units, which, Tim has been nice enough to, give us. We're actually taking hits in cafeteria technology, vocational CPR, and child safety. One thing to call out is although we're giving money back in some of these categories, that does not mean that those missions and or programs are not going forward. It's just we're operating with less money in those categories. So that's to the total of 619,000 that we actually are giving back. So give it and take it away.
Is this something that is just gonna continue to happen year after year?
Pretty much.
This is where they turn it around and we have like the opportunity grants. So
Right.
in some ways we give the money back, then the state requires that we apply for grants in other areas and they give us back the money, but then it has other strings attached to it.
Yeah.
Any questions?
This number is a little different. I think last year we was at 638.
I wanna say closer to, yeah, a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's a little higher than last. Oh, this is lower than last year.
650.
Any other questions?
Is it already one-time things like the CPR instructor? Is that a one-time, is that something that we have somebody here that is an instructor for the CPR?
That is something that we've.
So we use other funds to take care of it. So we get that CPR instructor when it comes from the state. We give it back, we cover it, we do some other people.
Do we actually have the training for our teachers and stuff and do that?
For those that have that.
And they get cars.
Child safety workers.
I think
Yes, we do that through a
Yeah,
different.
we do it.
Do a different process.
School nurses do it through IDEA.
Very good, right?
And I do believe final budget is being presented. So, basically the numbers you saw in all the categories that were presented prior, that they basically said for preliminary, all are reflected basically as your final budget that we're presenting. So that was the inclusion of the 75K into contingency, the $500,000 in choice and charter. And we've done that because at this point of the year, we know how much those bills have come in. We pretty much know what's going to go out. And so we try to turn this around for y'all fairly quickly as soon as we have all the information we need. And so this is what we're presenting as our final budget.
And remember, we can't do the finals till now because we don't do the council, you can verify in November. Yeah.
All right, yeah, any questions?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. All right, these are action items. We'll start with 7.10. The recommended action is to approve the financial reports as presented.
Darren Savage, I move to accept the financial reports as presented.
Marcus Rhodes, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections, abstentions? That passes 4-0. 7.11. The recommended action is to approve the final budget FY 24 as presented.
I have formal right to approve 7.11 financial budget report FY 24.
Darren Savage, I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? That passes 4-0. All right. On to our long range agenda. All right. So what's today? So tomorrow night, we have winter concert at the Cedar Middle School at 6 p.m. On the 20th, we have a holiday sing-along at Fred Douglas at 1:45 p.m. So what is that? Are we all invited to that?
You can go to all and any events that are available.
The sing-along is like karaoke or what?
No, I believe it's more of a kind of choral singing event. But you know what, if you want to carry. We have people that can get.
Also, on the 20th, we have the winter pep rally and honor roll announcements at the Cedar Middle School at 1 p.m. December 21st, schools are closed, we have professional development.
Yes.
I think that's where Mr. Coley and his, students are
About
going
right now, it's 9:45 or 10:45, giving tours,
What timing, say it again?
9:45, and then the second one is at 10:45. So we'll run through, with the newer greenhouse, the hydroponic systems, and then the older greenhouse, for different staff members for the winter, and then we've also got, and, soil, like traditional growing system, so.
December 22nd to January 1st, schools are closed for winter break. For those that have not got my gift, I am still accepting them. Schools will reopen on January 2nd. January 10th, school choice application period closes. January 15th, schools are closed for honoring the Martin Luther King Day.
And Marcus Garvey, it's both, people forget that.
Marcus Wright's birthday,
Yes.
King holiday.
I'm not saying they're equivalent, but there's a correlation.
And on the 16th, we'll be back here, for school board meeting at 6 p.m. And maybe Mr. Zoll will have a cake for Marcus and us to partake in.
You guys enjoy it, I will be able to.
He's gonna be, I will accept it on his behalf. And we'll be at the Secret Middle School. So this will be mine. All right. Any discussion on that?
Okay. Nope.
All right. We are now moving into our executive session. I need a motion to enter into the executive session.
Marcus Wright, I'm moving to enter into executive session.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? All right. Time is 7:11. Thank you all for coming.